Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel for another collab between myself and Miles. Is it fourth instalment of our Doctor Who magazine 60 years poll review thing we've been doing. We meant to get a separate part on the McCoy and Eccleston polls sooner than this, but we just didn't get around to it.
Just really the train kind of just didn't stop.
So now the results for the next poll have been released. So in an unprecedented move, in this video we're going to be reviewing the results for 4 Doctors, so the 7th, 9th, 10th and 11th, and then also making our predictions for the final poll, which has now closed. Results will be in probably about a fortnight or so, I guess.
Yeah, sometime
soon.
Out. Yeah.
For the Capaldi and Whittaker one as well. So let's just try and remember where we were up to last time. So we'd done some predictions, hadn't we? We talked quite a lot about the McCoy stories and the Eccleston stories.
Yeah.
Got the results in this issue, so this isn't the most recent issue, the one that came before that.
I think to be fair, I watched our video this morning just to sort of brush up on what we thought, and I think we pretty much sussed that there wasn't going to be much
change. No, I mean, these two from memory are particularly sort of stuck in the ways of these lists.
Was it this one or the Colin one that you sent me a picture of just the kind of the position thing?
Just the symbol,
and I dropped my phone, and I just sent a GIF back of screaming because I was just like,
there were so many just like green equal signs weren't there or whatever. It just stayed the same as it had done previously. So I mean, for instance, with this one as well, the first 7 McCoy stories have all remained in the same place. So we've got Remembrance of the Daleks, Curse of Fenric, Survival, Ghostlight, Great Show, that's top 5. Battlefield in 6th place, Happiness Prawn 7th, Dragonfire up like 1 place, but it's all kind of a bit relative, into 8th place, Silver Nemesis in 9th, Paradise Towers in 10th, and then bottom 2 there, Delta and Bannerman, and of course Time and the Rani, which I showed a little bit of love for in our previous video, but I mean,
fair enough.
Was it going to be anything else? No.
You made a good point in the last video in that it's hard to see much shifting of the bottom stuff without seeing major decline in the top stuff, if that makes any sense.
Because you've got to put it on top of something else.
Yeah, you've got to see like say like, I don't know, Greatest Show suddenly get a really low score in comparison to another one in order to, I mean, I know I'm talking about how polls work here, but in order to see a real shift, the opinions got to change about those top ones as well as the bottom ones, which I think has happened with the Tennant stuff and the Smith stuff.
Yeah, there's more movement there, isn't there?
But so not surprised in the slightest. Do I agree? I don't know. My opinion is different, but that's fine.
I guess for you, like Ghostlight, Survival and stuff. That
I thought my top 3 are the
Ghostlight
3, 4, 5 ones there.
Yeah, fair enough.
Paradise Towers should be like
Paradise Towers
number 4. But other than that,
it's predictable, isn't it? It's what you'd expect. So
poor Tom Spilsbury having to like. I mean, I don't know what to write about at this point. Eccleston, was there any movement whatsoever?
I'm just looking at the quote. It is the box out quote. Rose, the episode that relaunched Doctor Who for a new generation, has gradually been climbing up the chart. That was the kind of the big takeaway, apparently.
When they say gradually climbing up the chart, they mean like
I mean,
not in the past few years.
No. Well, so once again, the first 7. So the first 7 results of both these polls are as they were in 2014. So Empty Child, Doctor Dancers, Bad Wolf, Pine of the Ways, Dalek, that's top 3. Father's Day and Rose joining it into the top 5. And then below that, Unquiet Dead, End of the World, Boomtown, End of London, World War 3, and The Long Game.
So Boomtown's now more highly regarded than the first Slitheen story.
Yes, that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, another little takeaway. I mean, personally speaking, it would still be much higher for me. Long Game, is understandable. Yeah, totally understandable.
But it's like when you've got such a good bunch, how do you put any at the bottom, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I guess so,
other than personal preference. I am shocked I have to say that Bad Wolf didn't win it this time around, because I have seen like a lot of appreciation for that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said last time, or hinted at, I think I still don't really quite get the love for like the Empty Child parts beyond like the iconic imagery, obviously, of the Empty Child itself and of like the Doctor Constantine moment, which is obviously fantastic. and the love for Captain Jack, which is, understandable, I guess, contextually, but then also I kind of watch it back, even without John Barrowman stuff, and just kind of think, just like, cut to the chase here, like, what is this, like, with him on top of the ship, like, with Rose and stuff, like, just, I don't know, it just kind of a bit tiresome for me, maybe, but who knows, yeah, so, again, broadly predictable there, Father's Day, I think, will be a bit higher up for me. I'd put End of the World probably in a penultimate spot down the bottom, I think, myself. I mean, but yeah, it's all kind of swings and roundabouts.
Yeah.
But Boomtown, that's the one that would definitely be higher up. It'd be higher up for you as well.
100%,
yeah,
yeah,
100%. Yeah. So, there we go.
Yeah, and thus starts the Moffat winning streak as well, which we'll talk about more and
his
more.
first win and stuff like
First
that.
win.
Yes. So, maybe if we just put that one aside, then we have the Tennant and Smith results now. Now these, we didn't do any predictions for these, we didn't get around to it, did we? But
no. Well, it's funny actually, at the end of that last video we were like, gosh, it's going to be such a big video when we were predicting all the Tennant and the Smith stuff, but obviously that wasn't to be, but here we are, and I have to say, I am pleasantly surprised at a lot of these, and I'm really happy actually to see that there's very few equal. In fact, there's only 4 equal marks
that's
overall.
that's the point, isn't it?
Obviously, number 1 and the bottom spot are the same, but regardless of that, it's interesting. We've got a lot of movement in the middle, and some big climbers, some big fallers. Nothing that's really pipped the post into the top spots.
I mean, how do we feel about Blink being number 1?
I disagree. I think that it's kind of like, surely we're past that point now, and it's just general consensus.
It's the age-old thing, isn't it? Of okay, yeah, it's a great story, but like as the best kind of representation of what this era is and what it's about. I don't know really.
Yeah, I think surely we're at a time to reassess it. It's a really good story, but it's just like
I don't quite get the thought process behind putting that. I mean, obviously this is a accumulated thing where it's everybody kind of voting in, but how does that still end up? So I'm not quite sure. So the top 3: Blink, Human Nature, Family of Blood,
and then the new
Science of the Lion Forest of the Dead, which I'm very, very pleased to see there myself.
I'm quite satisfied to see that there too.
Yeah.
I think that's
it's gone up from 7th to 4th to 3rd. You know, it's great to see. It's a story, from my childhood, the first series that I watched, which has just stuck with me, and it's got some great imagery in there, great ideas, great moments, lovely gear shift into Forest of the Dead, into part 2 with the Donna stuff and Miss Evangelista.
And then look what's below it. We've got Midnight.
So Midnight as well, yeah. I mean, and Turn Left, like a little streak there, I suppose, isn't it, of Series 4 story. I mean, it's fantastic to see. So all of those have... Well, Turn Left... Okay, Turn Left came 4th once before, but then it's come up a few steps.
Again,
since 2014. That's in 5th place, Midnight in 4th. Midnight's climbed up from 11th to 9th to 4th. Yeah.
So fantastic. Midnight, I think, if we ever did this poll again, I think Midnight might get into the top 3, personally. I think Midnight's better than Blink. I'm shocked that...
Yeah, like, do you think, if that was, number 2 to 4, if that was the 3, do you think...
I reckon, if anything, I mean, Silence of the Library, Forest of the Dead is great, but if anything, I think Midnight could swap with that.
Would swap with that.
In the top
interesting.
3,
yeah, interesting.
Because it's shocking that there's not a single Davies story in that top 3,
Yeah, that's true, isn't it? Yeah, you'd expect, you'd almost kind of want to see something from him now, wouldn't you? Really?
Yeah.
Obviously, he's got his fingerprints over it all, but yeah, that's great. So I remember now actually reading in the commentary afterwards about how I'm pretty sure like Tom was saying that like Midnight in the season poll back in 2008 or whatever. It's just that thing. Like even with that, like as the 11th highest Tennant story in 2009, it's like how was it not higher before that? It's great to see how it's kind of climbed, and there's other ones like that as we move lower down the list. I mean, if we kind of split it in half, the top half here, just beginning from here up, I mean things like Fires of Pompeii, Partners in Crime.
Partners in Crime has climbed a lot. Smith and Jones has climbed.
Smith and Jones.
Well, it's kind of flopped back to the spot it was before.
Yeah.
Christmas Invasion has fallen quite a lot.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Which is
isn't it?
interesting.
So
I always thought it
what
was
have we
quite
got
popular.
here that's fallen? We've got, Girl in the Fireplace.
Girl in the Fireplace has fallen quite a bit, which is...
I mean, personally speaking, yeah.
Do you think that's got
fine.
anything to do with the Sophia Myles controversy?
Oh, I hadn't thought
Because
of that,
I've got a
maybe.
big theory about why another story, and also some Smith stories, have fallen quite a bit.
Okay, interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
Maybe so. I do think, like, when I went back to it recently,
I mean, it's good. It's a really good story.
It's a good story. Well, yeah, but I think I don't know. I
think
didn't
Moffat's other
get.
ones are stronger.
Yeah, like Silence of the Library hands down. I think, or like I don't know. I just felt. I think maybe I hinted at this in our previous video. Maybe I can't remember. But like, yeah, I don't know. I just found it a little bit maybe pretentious, or a little bit kind of like the whole thing of like. I might be repeating myself. I can't remember if I said it before. But the whole thing of like the Doctor kind of falling for her and stuff. It just and then obviously you've got that kind of weird thing of her like as a child. Yeah, and it's a little bit peculiar, isn't it?
I think I quite like the mushiness of it. I'm a sucker for that sort of stuff. So.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So,
and like, I can, and it was groundbreaking for the time, and like laying the foundations for stuff like River Song. I just like going back to it. The idea that like she would be like this love of his life. I know she was like a character. I think Stephen Moffat like says in the confidential episode and stuff. Oh, she was like this real like rogue character from the time. She was like an adventurer. She was like a doctor-like character. But I don't know if I quite see that myself so much. So I personally I wasn't so much so bothered.
And another big faller we've had is Stolen Earth, Journey's End as well, which has
isn't it?
gone out from the top 5, which is quite shocking.
Yeah, because I think that's what the commentary was saying. Like that, previously obviously that was above. Stuff like all of those above Silence of the Library in 2009 and Midnight and then some it was it above no, it's never quite been above. Has it been above? Oh no, above Turn Left once before. It's a kind of trend with a lot of the. In fact, it's something that kind of carries on over to the Smith pod, isn't it? Like where we've got a lot of like big
finale
episodes which have kind of gone down.
Funny seeing the End of Time just square in the middle and never moving.
It's interesting, isn't it?
But yeah, so moving down the pole, we can see Gridlock's risen quite a bit.
Yes.
And then Unicorn and the Wasp and the Shakespeare Code. Now they've got a writer in common.
Oh yes.
And I'm assuming Planet of the Dead's there as well. All of those stories have fallen. Particularly the Shakespeare Code, which went from 19, originally 15, to 26. So whether any of that has influenced people's watching of it, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting with those, isn't it? I mean, what are your opinions on those? Well, we talked about Planet of the Dead fairly recently, haven't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what our opinion was of it, but
just kind of I think really, but like Shakespeare. I mean,
Shakespeare Code, I do quite like.
I've seen quite a lot of people sort of attacking it recently. I think there are like.
I mean, there's the
moments there which fair enough. And obviously with the writer as well, but there is that kind of thing as well of it's always a tricky thing, is like separating the author from the work itself. I wonder whether people have been letting stuff get in the way a little bit with that story in particular, because I haven't watched it in a while.
It's good.
I think it holds up.
Same with Unicorn and the Wasp. I do think that there's a lot of fun.
That's a really fun story, isn't it? And just in terms of the way it like plays with all that Agatha Christie stuff. Again, obviously it's unfortunate about the writer, and ultimately people are going to kind of vote it lower because of that, and that's down to them. But I think. I don't know. Myself, I find it difficult to kind of,
to separate those kind of things.
Yeah, I think personally, I wouldn't probably let it get in the way quite so much. But I mean, obviously everyone's sort of, I think they still hold up by themselves.
We've got a lot of big movers in Tooth and Claw is another one that has fallen drastically, which is surprising. I mean, I don't know what's changed.
I rewatched that recently.
That was nearly in the top 10 back in 2009.
Place, wasn't it? Down to 24th. Yeah. I thought that held up pretty well recently.
Yeah,
I thought it's slightly sort of by the numbers or whatever, but it's. I thought actually fair enough. Like watching it back, like the kind of the build, that big reveal of the werewolf in the middle. It structurally, I think it's kind of great like that. It kind of has that momentum. loses it perhaps a little bit in the second half, where they're just like in that room and the werewolf's just like outside, just like waiting for something to happen. But like, yeah, I think overall I found that a convincing story. I would have put that higher up myself.
And little things that I'm personally very happy about is Voyage of the Damned has climbed up 4 places, which is great. And also Daleks in Manhattan, which used to sort of languish in the sort of bottom bits, has jumped up a good few places. I mean, now it's at 30 out of 36, so it jumped out of the bottom 5, which is really impressive actually, considering it used to really be. I mean, it used to be like almost second to last, didn't it?
Yeah.
Love and Monsters.
Yeah.
So that's stuff that I'm quite happy about. It's not a huge victory, but it's something at least, you know.
That's fair enough.
But yeah, any more comments? I mean,
anything that sticks out. I mean,
down below we've got finally Love and
like
Monsters
is the bottom half, isn't it? So everything kind of below here. Rise of the Simon Age of Steel should be higher, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. That's a shame to see it so low. But then these ones are so good that it's like, how do you choose? You know.
I mean, broadly speaking, are we content with the finales being sort of not in the top 10, but like the top 20, or like moving down a little bit?
Yeah, like obviously Next Doctor's fallen quite a lot. Christmas Invasion's fallen down, which I'm not fussed about really.
Oh, you're not?
No, I mean Christmas Invasion I used to really love, but now it's good. I'm happy, but it's...
I can kind of I think I like it more than I used to, but
okay.
A little bit.
Ray Bride has jumped up.
That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, as I was saying, Love and Monsters has now finally jumped up from second to bottom to third to bottom. So it's a small victory,
isn't it? Yeah.
But it's something nonetheless. I think Idiot's Lantern should be a bit higher. Are you not a fan of that?
Not so much, but
I do. I love Idiot's Lantern.
I might put it above. I mean, yeah, I'd probably put it above some other stuff there,
like above Planet of the Dead, and you know.
Yeah, and
Doctor's Daughter. I think.
Yeah, Doctor's Daughter and Next Doctor as well is not a whole lot of substance to it, in my opinion, really. So, yeah.
Do we agree with Fear Her being in bottom place?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing else. It's one of those. Yeah, like sometimes in the past we've been like, oh, it's a shame to see this story in bottom place, but then
what else?
And this is one of those examples where actually, like, what else would it be? Like, I don't think there's really any argument for it being better than anything else there. Sadly, you know. So some interesting stuff there. I mean, the takeaway, isn't it, really, the kind of the finales and stuff. Those kind of bigger stories that people would tend to gravitate towards, the more kind of big scale, exciting, flashy stories, come down a little bit, but that's allowed some other stuff to come up. I think we're grateful for that, aren't we? So
so I'm quite satisfied with the 10 stuff, really.
Yeah.
Only iffy thing is Blink being so high, but that's not really going to change, I don't think.
I mean, what do you think? What do you personally put number 1 if it came to anything instead of Blink?
Personally,
do you think it would be one of these ones that's still up there or something?
But I think
Midnight.
Human Nature probably could be number 1 for a lot of people.
Yeah,
do you remember when they did the 2009 poll? They did the 4 alternate covers.
That was one.
And one of the covers was "You Love Human Nature," but was it your number 1?
Yeah.
And I think it was that Kaiser and Rosani, City of Death, and there was another story. Enter Child, Doctor Dancers.
Yes.
So who knows?
It is interesting. Yeah, because I think if that was number 1, I certainly feel better about it. Yeah, because it's that kind of thing of trying to find a story that
encapsulates.
Yeah, it does something different. Like, because all these stories, like Midnight. Silence in the Library to some extent as well, like Turn Left, Human Nature, they're all kind of just something different with the format, and that's kind of why they're well regarded. But then they're also like the kind of the guest written episodes. It's kind of that thing of like we're saying, you almost kind of want something Russell authored to be up there, or something more kind of representative, perhaps like the series 4 finale. Then that I don't think that would ever kind of those to post, would it? So
no,
I think Human Nature. That two-parter, potentially, it does have enough of kind of what the 10th Doctor was about and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's enough of it in there, I think, for that to be a better representation of the era, while also being a nice little change of piece by itself. So yeah, I think I could get behind that in the future.
Who knows, in 10 years' time or however long it is. Yeah. So Smith. Which probably is even more interesting, because is there any equals marks in that whole chart? I think there's 1 I can spot.
So Night Terrors
is stayed.
The first place, obviously, as well.
Oh, yeah.
And Curse of the Black Spot.
That's it.
And the
It's
box
amazing.
art quote is, some of the more cerebral and understated Matt Smith episodes have been positively reappraised. I found it funny as well, like, all peace and love to Tom Spilsbury, but like, I know he's quite a big fan of Time of the Doctor. I found it quite funny how he like devotes the whole paragraph there, just like his own love for Time of the Doctor. I mean, it has, fair enough, it has climbed up a little bit,
but not massively.
Not loads.
It climbed up two places, and apparently that devotes half an article.
He makes out that it's like really
been massively reappreciated.
Fair enough. So let's have a look here. So top 3. I mean, Day of the Doctor, Vincent of the Doctor, 11th Hour. So again, what do you think about this? I mean,
again, it's another Blink situation. Like, how does the Day of the Doctor encapsulate that era? You know.
Yeah, this is difficult, isn't it? Because I think, so as an anniversary special, as a story about the show, as a story like about Stephen Moffat's like vision of the show, like what it is and to him and all, it encapsulates all that. But then, yeah, like I was saying for the Tennant poll, like, as an encapsulation of the era.
And I know that's not what people are voting for. They're not saying like, "Oh, this is the most Matt Smith." They're just voting for like as a story. But it's just I mean I really don't know why it gets so much credit. It's a good story, but it's not number one.
I mean, I go through phases with it. I think, I think at the moment I'm probably pretty favourable towards it. I think it does hold up. But then, yeah, you're right, and it is that kind of thing of, if it's been there like for so long, can we not just have something else? Like,
and Vincent the Doctor is right there. Like, Vincent the Doctor was so close to getting first place.
Yeah,
I'm really chuffed to see that swapped into second, because I think that 11th Hour, as good as it is, I think Vincent the Doctor does a lot of good stuff as well. That's my number one Smith personally.
So last time in 2014 it was Day of the Doctor, then the 11th Hour, then Vincent and the Doctor. So they've already been there, those three, but they've shifted slightly. We've got Pandora Crokin's Big Bang now in 4th from 6th place. Doctor's Wife down from 4th place into 5th. I mean, that's your top 5. So yeah, what do you think there? Really, I mean,
it's interesting to see Doctor's Wife start to fall, because I think that's one that at the time I think hype kind of, I think, and a lot of these stories have changed because of hype dying down.
Yeah, I mean,
Day of the Doctor's the only exception.
Wife, for example, is one that I think at the time I was kind of in the minority, didn't quite get on with it so well.
Same here.
I've got on with it better since, but yeah, I'm not kind of, it's not a hell I'm going to die. I'm not going to say it should be right up there. I mean, I'd be fine with seeing it lower.
Yeah, I'm happy to see Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone jumping up.
Story, yeah.
Impossible Astronaut, watched that again recently. Great story.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Christmas Carol has jumped from
17th
basically
to
like
8th.
midway through the poll into the top 10.
Yes.
Which, I mean, personally, best Smith Christmas special.
Yeah,
would you say?
I think that's I think that's completely valid.
Amy's Choice. That's again, fantastic to see that. That's literally jumped up.
God Complex as well.
And God Complex, which we've talked about quite a lot, haven't we? Only just missing out the top 10, and Girl Who Waited.
What's interesting is that
nearly
this
doing
kind of sort of run here for Amy's Choice, Girl Away, God Complex, little chamber pieces, like a run of 3 of those that have just kind of all
massively jumped. And
yeah,
it's interesting seeing these 4 all massive climbers, and then you've got a load of ones that have dropped below that.
So what have we got?
So what's the
Name of the Doctor?
Name of the Doctor's gone from 5th to 12th. I mean,
fair enough.
But that's the hype. That isn't that just people are obviously focusing on that cliffhanger and going amazing, and now it's just gone down.
Because this was in 2014, wasn't it? So
I would have probably given that a 10 at the time. Like
at the time
in that poll when I voted,
that was the most recent series, wasn't it?
Yeah. I would have definitely been one of the people who gave that a 10 out of 10. The Snowmen. I mean,
Snowmen.
Happy to see that a bit lower down. Yeah, Time of the Doctor climbing massively 2 whole places. Tom Spilsbury's very happy about that.
Yeah.
Angels Take Manhattan's drops loads out of the top 10.
Yeah, that's interesting. It used to be in the top 10.
I mean, I agree with that personally. I don't think it's anything to show.
What do I think? I mean, I think I would sooner see Name of the Doctor lower down, to be honest. But it's one of those ones that every time I go back to it, I do get more from it than I was expecting to. I think almost. But
I've not watched it
at the same time. There is that kind of thing of
instinctively
hype and stuff. Fair enough.
Good Man Goes to War again dropping. Simon the Daleks
interesting.
is just plummeted.
I mean, 7th. How is that ever in?
How is that in the top 10? How is it in 7th place? That nearly got into the top 5. I remember at the time, actually, in this poll, seeing how high it had gotten and being like, what?
I don't mind it as much as other people. I think
but it's not.
The divorce thing is completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Think
of all those stories that it beat. It beat Time of
story.
Angels, it beat Impossible Astronaut, it beat Amy's Choice, Girl Who Rated God Complex. All those stories, and Asylum of the Daleks. The story which everyone was really disappointed about because it didn't feature all those classic Daleks that promoted. People were like, 7th best Matt Smith story. So there we go. Crimson Horror, that's a bit shocking actually. I don't know. I don't think Crimson Horror deserves to drop.
No, I'm sort of surprised it ever kind of got as high as that. Actually, it's a story that I have historically quite liked. Interesting. Maybe it should be higher than that though. I mean, because we've basically got 39, 40 stories, so kind of this is the sort of midpoint here. Hyde, Cold War.
So these are the stories that people think are like the average Smith stuff.
So, I mean, looking at that top half, then I mean. Yeah.
Personally, you know what? I'm
sound.
pretty happy with a lot of that.
Yeah.
I'd obviously change Day of the Doctor again. It's similar to the Tennant stuff. I'd change Day of the Doctor around, but I'm very happy with all these cerebral kind of.
It's great to isn't it? It's
see the God Complex nearly get into the top 10 is fantastic, considering that it was basically at the bottom half of the poll.
No, it's not a bad list by any means.
And the lodgers dropped down quite drastically.
Was this your theory about?
Well, that's again the Gareth Roberts theory.
But also, and James Corden?
And James Corden as well. Yeah, because look, both the Lodger and also Closing Time has drastically dropped.
See, that's another case where I think those stories, they're not amazing stories, are they? But then I don't mind them as much as other people do. Like, as with Shakespeare Code, if there are problematic lines or parts of them, then fair enough to point them out or whatever. I don't know. I might hide them. I mean, the Lodge has only just missed out on the top half, actually. So it's still relatively high, isn't it? I mean, in Closing Time, I don't mind it as much as other people, but it's a hard sell, isn't it? To get people to put it higher than
it actually dropped into the bottom 5. Which is,
I mean, one story that I'm pretty surprised to see where it is. Bells of St. John.
You think it should be lower or higher?
I think it should be a lot lower.
A lot lower?
Yeah,
I mean, so. Yeah, I don't think it's anything to write home. I do think there's stories here that I would put higher than it, so... Yeah,
because I just feel with that one, I think when Stephen Moffat was asked, maybe in an interview or something, like, what is your middle of the road, like, from the ones you've done, ones you've written, what is, like, your most average episode in your opinion, or whatever, average script? And I think he said Bells of St. John. Yeah. So
I think the Beast Below should be a lot higher than that. Has that risen?
Yeah.
Beast Below has risen, actually, hasn't
it? Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, from 32 to 25. It's nearly risen, a good...
The Vampires of Venice has gone up a little. I mean, fair enough for it to be kind of in the middle section, I think, but fair play to it for climbing up a little bit. But yeah, the Bells of St. John, I like all the flashy London stuff and everything, but I don't know, just as a story, like... There's just not much there. Like, they go to a plane for some stupid reason. Like,
it's a bit of a King's Demons, isn't it? Really?
Bizarre things.
The King's Demons are the Matt Smith era, basically. It's kind of like we need to start off the Clara stuff, and we need to set it in present day. I mean, story.
Fair play for Moffat, like doing his first proper contemporary urban thriller almost. But
apart from that,
I don't. Yeah, it's not one that I kind of would jump to.
So now, other than Hungry Earth and Cold Blood. What do you think about the Chibnall stories kind of all dropping from what I can see? Okay, so Dinosaurs on a Spaceship has dropped a few places, and so has Power of Three. Anything to that?
Ooh, I mean, Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, yeah, sort of fair enough, I think. I think Power of Three, because that's kind of rounding off on the bottom 10. Well, let's kill Hitler and below, isn't it? Yeah, I'd probably put the Power of Three a little bit higher myself. Despite the ending, I think there's some nice stuff there. It's the one where I want to one thing get in the way of the rest of it almost.
Hey, check out Rings of Akaten.
Where's that?
Jumping from bottom place up out of the top 5, out of the bottom 5. Sorry.
It's that the bottom place. Yeah.
So that used to be the worst Matt Smith story, and now it's jumped out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. The 5 worst stories. You know.
I mean, we've reviewed Doctor Who and the Wardrobe, haven't we?
We did.
We've said our piece on that, but even as someone who doesn't mind that story, I kind of find hard to believe how it wasn't in last place last time.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it all but got there, didn't it? But it's fascinating to see how Rings of Akhaten.
How do you feel about Rings of Akhaten?
It's been ages since I've watched it, so I couldn't really say. But I remember at the time really liking it as a kid.
It's another one that I've kind of gone through phases with myself.
Yeah. A pendulum.
Yeah, I don't know. I think every time, like from memory, when I've rewatched it, on my last time I saw it, like I always find the stuff like with stupid it is, like the stuff with the leaf, like the opening little montage. It's a bit stupid, but it's kind of sweet. It's kind of convincing. I think there are moments for me where it does kind of just fall flat, but
the thing is, I watched the Matt Smith speech in it recently, and I was like, God, that was a really good moment. That
I'm not quite sold on it.
Interesting.
Myself,
I sometimes quite like those big grandiose over the dramatic
think,
stuff.
For me, it's, and maybe I didn't think so much at the time, but I think for me now, I don't know, it's a little bit kind of, it's a bit creepy maybe, or a little bit kind of over.
Take it all, baby.
Well, this is it. This is the line, isn't it? It's that. But
okay, fair enough.
Fair play. It's climbed 5 places, and I think it is one of those that does have its fans, doesn't it? And it has some interesting stuff it's trying to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So what have we talked about here? I mean,
Let's Kill Hitler dropping again. Hype kind of dying down.
Yeah. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out, based on the last time I saw it. But
Wedding of a River Song dropping quite a lot. Just
yeah, again, but both those two, you can sort of see it, kind of why they're down there. But yeah, I think that there is more to enjoy in those than people make out for.
Overall, though, I'm very happy with the Matt Smith poll. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm surprised actually how I'm like, yeah, that does it. That's good.
Yeah.
That's hit the spot, really. Finally, we see what shifting opinions can do, in the space of 10 years.
Yes, exactly. And now we're all kind of grown up and people are watching.
That's the thing. I think it's because this generation who can actually finally comment on this stuff and say, but yeah.
Well, fair enough.
Is it time to just quickly predict?
Is it time
about Capaldi and Whittaker?
So yeah.
What I was thinking is, if we don't want to, I mean, this is so many stories. If we didn't want to delve in too much, we could do top 3 and bottom 3 for each of them. Do you think that's possible?
Yes, no, go on. I mean,
I reckon I will put money on.
So what we think?
Heaven Sent being number 1 for Capaldi.
There's no way people aren't gonna.
That's the amount of hype that's been around that story. I wouldn't personally agree, but I think that it's gonna be.
What would you put in number 1?
World Enough in Time.
Yeah.
Or Oxygen, which I think is a
okay.
really underrated.
That's interesting.
Piece.
I'm interested in how that one performs because, like,
I mean, yeah.
I remember there being quite a lot of hype around it at the time, and then maybe has it died down a bit since? I'm not quite sure.
I got into Doctor Who magazine. I got the star letter in Doctor Who magazine when Oxygen came out.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, Tom Spilsbury will be quoting.
He'll be like, I'm Miles Taylor at the time, and do you know what he won? He won the Ninth Doctor Chronicles, narrated by Nick Briggs. What finer prize could you get?
Wow.
So Oxygen, I think, could be a good one. I think Jamie Matheson has a good chance of getting some bangers in the top.
Yes, Mummy will be in the top, won't it? I mean, Flatline, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's the top 3 going to be? I mean, Heaven Sent,
Well Enough and Time, and
what's the other one going to be?
Would they put Heaven Sent and Hellbent together? I've just suddenly thought that. And Face the Raven. It seems like the Doctor Who magazine thing to do.
From memory.
Oh, yeah, of course. So I missed out on the poll. I missed out on the poll for this one.
Utopia? Yeah.
They put all of them together.
Did they?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't remember. I have a
because
feeling
this is the only one I've missed out on voting.
I think maybe they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if it was with Hellbent,
it might get up so
in
high.
The general consensus.
Oh, interesting. Well, that's throwing the cat on the pigeon.
I don't think it was, but
right.
Yeah, who knows?
If not, then Well Enough in Time. It has to be one of those two.
Yeah, then I'm trying to think now. What's the third one going to be?
Mummy and Orient Express, possibly.
Yeah, Mummy.
Or Listen. Do you think Listen?
I'd like to listen to that.
I'm not saying like
myself.
personally, but like I'm just thinking of like stories that I remember people really talking about.
Yes.
What else is
That'd be
there?
interesting. Yeah, I guess that'll be it, won't it?
Deep Breath? No, maybe not.
I'm not so sure in the general. Maybe it might.
Yeah, those are the only ones I can really think of.
Yeah, so maybe for a top 5, I mean, yeah, Heaven Sent, Well Enough, Mummy, Listen in there somewhere, and probably Flatline in there somewhere in terms of general consensus.
I would like to see Oxygen get in the top 5 as well, but
yeah,
who knows?
I mean, do we think that stuff like Husbands of River Song might be quite
actually, yeah.
high?
You know what? That is very popular.
Maybe in the top 10?
Top 10,
Top 10?
definitely.
Yeah.
What was the finale for Series 8? What was that?
Dark Water, Death in Heaven.
Was that popular, do you think? Could be.
Potentially, yeah. I see. For me, I would be on the side of saying, yeah, I like that story. But then I know there's a lot of people that like feel quite like offended by the cyber thing, or they find that quite egregious, and like all the thing of like, yeah, I think that the thought of all the Doctors like companions being conversed and stuff, and the like thing of Cybermen stomping around graveyards rather than doing that. There's all that stuff you can level at it, which I think older fans in particular kind of maybe not
as
not so much of a fan,
yeah.
but I think, I mean, for me personally, Extremis, however you say it, I'd like to.
But that'll be lumped in surely with Lie of the Land and Permanent End of the World.
If it was.
Surely, because it's a 3-parter. Surely.
Yeah, maybe it was. Yeah, I genuinely can't remember now.
I mean, I have no place to comment because I missed it. I can't believe I missed it because I was really excited to vote for
I think I was surprised actually when I was voting for these. And it might have been because they were lumping stuff together, but like, it was kind of a lot of sort of 7s or 8s for me. Like, I found it kind of difficult to find the standout stuff so much. I mean, do we think stuff
what about the? I mean, are you thinking like Series 10 stuff maybe? Is like about Emperors of Mars? Do you think that'll be?
I don't think that'll be high.
No,
I don't think so. I think it'll be quite low.
Pilot, maybe.
Yeah, I think Eaters of Light should be down there.
Well,
in the Forest of Night's going to be bottom.
Do you think Forest of Night's going to be bottom?
I think so.
Twice Upon a Time. Maybe.
I mean, that's another one, isn't it? Like Dark Water, Death in Heaven, where it's like, yeah,
Depends
Stephen
on-
Moffat did these things, and like some people liked it, and some people were really offended by it.
I know what I'd have given it if I had the chance to vote.
That'd be interesting.
I think that might be.
That'll be another one that Tom Spilsbury, he'll find a way to spin it into a positive.
Do you think?
Because I think he likes that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As much as it's a shame to see it in the bottom 10, we must not forget that in 10 years' time,
Yeah, now you say it, that might crack bottom 10, I reckon.
bottom
maybe.
10, 100%.
Yeah.
100% bottom 10.
Yeah.
I reckon it's going to be, we're thinking...
The bottom ones.
What did you say?
In the Forest of the Night.
In the Forest of the Night.
Eaters of Light.
Eaters of Shite.
Yeah.
And what else?
Do we think Kill the Moon's going to be down there?
Kill the
or
Moon...
middle somewhere, maybe?
I think it was middle of the road.
Middle of the
I think
road.
that's going to be the sort of benchmark, the
I
middle.
mean, stuff like Time High, stuff like Caretaker. I mean,
Caretaker
it's another one where
Caretaker's definitely going to be in the
it's
bottom
got
10.
lots of problematic stuff about it. As a concept, as a story, I don't dislike it, but yeah, I can see it's going to be down there.
Sleep No More.
Yeah,
As much, I mean, I don't know quite know where I'd place it myself, but like, I reckon that's going to be in the bottom.
That'll be the
as well.
bottom 3. It'll be
Forest of the Night,
Forest,
Eaters of Light, and
More.
Sleep No More.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's probably our bottom 3, isn't it? Really?
Lie of the Land, maybe.
If it's a separate.
If it's separate, of course.
Yeah.
If
I
that's
don't
all
think
one story,
it's
that'll
Doctor
be
Who
right.
magazine, Richard. Of course they're going to put them together. Of course they're going to put them. Do you remember Flux?
Well,
was
moving
Flux?
swiftly on. I mean, yeah, Flux was one story.
Was it actually?
Yeah.
They didn't actually do that, did they?
Yeah,
Mentally.
It's like now we've got like
You've got 6 whole stories.
like about 25 odd stories that I make that for Jodie. Because like 2
She's
series
only
of
got
11
half an
plus.
era anyway. Give her those 6.
So we're Jodie then. So I mean, do we think Flux will crack top 3?
No, 100% no. Surely not.
What is there though?
And not if they've lumped Flux all together, because people were so bitter about the ending that they'll just be like, well, I can't give it an 8, even if War of the Sontarans is in there.
Well, okay, what are people going to say? They're going to say Haunting of the Diodati.
Haunting of the Diodati is going to be number 1. Number 2 is going to be Rosa. Surely.
Top 3, yeah.
And
Power of the Doctor, do we think it's going to be up there?
Oh. I think if it's not in the top...
Quite funny.
It will definitely be in the top 10.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I don't think it's going to be a Day of the Doctor in the case of everyone's going to be like, oh my god, because it's... I think there's just...
I agree, but maybe not so much.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would say Haunting of the Diodati, Rosa, just because it's reputation.
Demons of the Punjab will be up there somewhere, I reckon. And Eve of the Daleks?
I'd say probably Demons is more... I mean, I would say Eve of the Daleks, definitely, but I think Demons is probably more people, general consensus. I think they'll appreciate that more.
So why do we think in Flux? I think because
Flux will be middle ground. It'll be like Trial of a Time Lord. Trial of a Time Lord was
that was the middle of the
wasn't it? So I reckon it'll be the same thing if they That's really annoying. That's stupid. Right, yeah.
Bottom.
So bottom 3. Praxius.
Praxius down there, isn't it?
Saranga Conundrum, and then what was the one that everyone hated?
Legend of the Sea Devil is going to be... That's going to be the very bottom, do we think?
No. I as much as I hate it, I don't think it's going to be bottom, no. People are going to be like,
classic series fans.
Yeah.
We'll put Saranga below it.
Saranga will be like... Orphan 55 is going to be bottom, isn't it?
Yeah,
Orphan 55 or...
Yeah,
it'd be interesting to have looked at the old poll, the season polls, wouldn't it? The season surveys.
Yeah, I think bottom 3 could maybe be Orphan 55, Saranga and Legends. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't.
I think they're going to
I would agree with that, but I don't think that fans are sensible enough to do that. I think that fans will be too much. They'll be like, it's got Sea Devils in the title. We can't put that so far down.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be in the bottom 10 at least. Maybe even bottom 5, but not bottom 3. As much as I will be angry at that, I don't think that's...
I'm just trying to think through other stuff we've got. I mean, stuff like...
Battle of Ranskarov Kolos. Is that not going to be one of the bottom ones? I think that might be second to last, maybe. Not quite the bottom.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it? It's going to be... Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see... Like, obviously, personally, I don't agree with a lot of... or to the same extent of those kind of criticisms, but like it will be interesting because there have been quite a few like quote unquote stinkers in the eyes of certain people. It'll be interesting to see which ones actually like I suppose in the same way that like something's got to come second, third, fourth, fifth.
Yeah,
something's got to come like second, third, fourth, fifth from the end.
It's
like some stuff might end up being
something's got to be
up.
The worst.
And again, it doesn't reflect my own views so much, but like in terms of general consensus, I mean. Maybe some stuff's going to end up being higher than people
would put it.
Would otherwise put it. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, maybe like Praxius will be.
I haven't quite thought about that. But that's interesting.
Yeah. It's going to be. I'm fascinated actually because obviously it's going to be interesting to see how they lay it out as well because they've got no comparison.
Nothing.
It's just going to be the numbers, isn't it? So.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe I'll do like a comparison to the season surveys. It'd be pretty confusing though, wouldn't it? I don't know. But something like that, yeah.
I'm really fascinated. That's going to be a real interesting...
that will be good, yeah.
Interesting thing.
I mean, I think probably just to end it on, I mean, I think one story that I think, like, will be lower than it should be in my opinion is like the Series 12 finale. I know people aren't so fond on it because of the twists and stuff, not Timeless Child and everything, but
it's Century of the Cybermen / the Timeless Child.
Well,
that's what it is.
I know, yeah. I think that's one that
is it going to be the Haunting of Diodati / the
I don't think it was
/ that?
I don't think so.
Surely not.
But I think that's one story that maybe in years to come. I'm gonna put my cards on the table now, for when we do another 50 years time, whatever, on next one of these. But like, I think in years to come, that one maybe it won't be quite so high now, but I think it could climb.
You think that might be a case?
I think it's worthy.
Yeah.
In terms of being a representation of the era as well.
Yeah.
It's all there. But anyway, little bombshell to end it on. A lot of interesting stuff. A lot of ground covered in this one.
When's the next issue out?
Let's double
check. Did it say in here?
I think they've stopped doing like a.
They've stopped doing it 17th of August. So when's that?
Is that it?
What date are we on now?
That's 2 weeks today.
So we won't know by the time we're at Moonbase, but we'll know
Well,
by
no.
next week.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. So we'll
have to see if we've got the time to squeeze that in.
Try and get that one out.
Yeah.
And then obviously after that, because they're taking a little bit of a break from actually having the polls on the go at the moment, but then
We're gonna
presumably,
get a big one.
yeah, from next month onwards, we're going to be able to vote for the big one where they put all the threes together, all the top threes.
I hope it's not going to be on Twitter like the World Cups, because I always hated that way of doing things.
I wonder how it's going to work. Are we going to have to?
Are they going to make us rank them ourselves, or are they going to make us rate them again and then?
Now you say it, they're going to do a World Cup thing, aren't they?
Of course they will.
They will.
Yeah.
And then they'll publish it in the end, and they'll have the World Cup results on one column, and then they'll maybe if they ever reveal like the aggregate scores, you know, in context, they'll like maybe have them as well.
I hope they'll do that, because that's all I care about. Like,
it would be nice to see.
Fine, do your little World Cup if you want, but give us give us the list, like in here, because how amazing was this to be like, oh yeah,
they'll really milk it. They'll wait till next year or something, and then just finally get round to it or something. You know, they'll
surely.
Yeah, I know. It'll be interesting to see. I suppose that'll probably be like.
That'll be November, I reckon.
Yeah,
or maybe October.
They'll have to devote an issue to it, but there's going to be so much other stuff going on.
Yeah,
they might like wait till like January or February to actually properly do it justice.
Not. Do you think?
Well, because they'll want like a shooty cover. They'll want like a tenant cover.
But maybe they'll do it the month before November. Maybe they'll do it in October.
Oh, is there going to be enough time? Yeah, actually,
they've got 2 months.
There's going to be enough time, is there? Yeah. Oh, fair enough. Okay.
We'll have 2 issues between then and November.
Well, there we go. Exciting stuff. Very
exciting times. I'm very excited for the next one.
Yes. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to us ramble on.
Yes.
Hope you enjoyed. Let us know your thoughts on all these stories, results, etc. areas down in the comments below. We'd love to know what you've got to say about it all and about our hot takes and your own hot takes. Otherwise, we'll see you soon with some more videos.
Yeah.
But until then, goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh yes. Bye bye.